Big up, everybody. It's your boy, Mark and MUFC fan. You know what it is, guys. Smash those likes and subscribe. I hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying your evening. Sorry for my few minutes late. Have a lot on the mind, bro. Got an exam tomorrow, so I'm preparing. And yeah, guys, it's been a long day. I've been trying not to get sweat too, but it's been moving to me. You know what I mean? But big up to everyone joining. I hope you guys have had the time to think about all you've seen in the game. Yeah, last night it was an up and down game, and I just wanted to talk about it for a little while and see how you guys are feeling, because we go into the derby this weekend against Manchester City, and of course they are not our hugest rivals, but they're the noisy neighbors, and we definitely need to at least do something dastardly in that situation and get a point, or sneak 3 points and keep them in their running rut of what's happening. Big up to everyone joining. Big up to you, Lucky Singh. Big up to Kenny Fan TV. What's good, bro? Glad we won, but first half performance was hella atrocious. Play like this against City, we could get crucified. That's no doubt, Kenny. No doubt at all, my brother. Big up to you. And I definitely think there's a possibility that things could be happening in a negative way if we don't shape up when we play against City. But mind you, guys, the second half substitutions that came in, they won us the game. So these guys might be starting with the team with some of the players who did perform well as starters in the game on Sunday. Won't we have a stronger performance? And we would still have something to come off the bench. Of course, guys, we're not at the best at full strength. We are a team with a lot of players with a point to prove, and there are lots of players who are not the finished article. And of course, the senior players having been all showing up week in, week out, leading the charges like we hoped. So it's one of those things, guys. I feel like yesterday's game, big up to you. A win is a win. I will celebrate that win cautiously. Now let's go to the Etihad and win it again. I'm not confident, but yeah, you never know. 100%, my brother Jim Watkins. I'm feeling the same way. Big up to Lucky Singh. Out, fan, me and friends don't buy no merch. We watch games at sports bars. Bro, I go to the games. I'm sorry, bro. I can't help that, bro. I can't help the way I support the club. I just feel like you got to, you know what I mean? I feel we need to have a little bit of a go at them. Not too much. Big up, understand that, Lucky. I understand that 100%. Glad Tottenham Open Football has completely been found out. Yo, bro, Tottenham might be having to play 2 extra games in the Europa League in January. If that happens, it's going to be a funny story. Big up to Lucky saying, won't lose out on anything. Use Anthony Santos, Xerxes, Mason Mount, start the game. Big up to you, my bro. Especially like Side City, how one win backs inverted. It's going to be interesting. Bali Tech, my broski. What's good, buddy? I hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the evening. I'm just, having a little bit of a talk about my feelings on the game. I know you might not have watched it live, but you might have saw some of the highlights and heard us talking about the game. And, we face Man City coming up, which we'll be doing a reaction for tomorrow, bro. At some point tomorrow, we'll definitely do a reaction. Hopefully, we will get it done. You know what I mean? But let's talk a little bit about that game, to be fair, because although we are reacting to the game that we had yesterday, I'm pretty sure we could still talk about this game coming up as well, a little bit of other news. So maybe you can tell me what you think might happen in the game on the weekend. Of course, there's no guarantees and anything like that. We could get mauled. We could probably get away with a point, or we might even steal a victory. What are your thoughts, bro?
I think we're going to try and contain City, be compact, pressing from a low mid-block, not a low block, mid-block, and try and hit them on the counter. I mean, we might have possession at times, but I think they're going to dominate the ball. But essentially, we're going to be looking to counter them. And pretty much what you saw Man City versus Sporting, that's what you're going to see. Is it on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Sunday. So that's what you're going to see. That's what I expect to see anyway. Ideally, I would want us to be all over them, attacking them, beating them up, putting them under too much pressure, scoring loads of goals, X, Y, Z, yada, 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 hard tackles, you know, the type of challenges that get you off the seat, silky skills here and there. But no, that's not what we're gonna see. We're not gonna see that, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things, bro. But I wanted to bring this to the stable as we have a little bit of time. You know, maybe one or two guys might come in and join us as well. We never know. But while we're on that, I wanted to bring in some other talking points into the situation. And of course, you know me, I'm a little. I like to bring in some little bit of banter with everything that I do. And this has just really interested me today. And while the stream is not solely about this, bro, we can make it about it a little bit. So, you know, check this out, guys. Let me know what you think about it. I think this is really interesting. The story that's coming out right now. Big up to Lucky Singh in the building. Look at this story, bro. Let me read it out to you guys. Manchester United beat Arsenal to 2-1 the kids in a week as the second deal is agreed. Ruben Amorim and United transfer chiefs can celebrate 2 wins over the Gunners. Manchester United have stolen a march on Arsenal this week for a deal for a second wonder kid has reportedly been agreed. Ruben Amorim has given thumbs up for a double deal as he looks to make first signings as the United manager. Earlier this week, 16-year-old Emmanuel Zero completed a move to United amid reported both interest from Arsenal and Chelsea. For as long as I can remember, the young man said, I have a ball at my feet and I enjoy the game of football. I now have the opportunity to continue doing it at the biggest club in the world, as well as the team I support. You know, it's interesting that, you know, a lot of kids say that, a lot of different ballers say these things, but, you know, when a kid says it, you got to believe them, you know what I mean? They usually speak the truth. He's looking forward to continue his journey playing for Manchester United, and he would like to thank everyone that has contributed to the development up until this point, especially Creative Football Academy. Those guys are his family, and he thanks them for everything that they've done for him. Not done there, United appear to have also won the race for another teenage sensation, which we talked about, Diego Leone, who has made 19 appearances and scored 2 goals for in the Paraguayan top flight. According to Fabrizio Romano, the deal is worth up to £3.5 million, has been agreed with both Leon's club, Cerro Porteño, and the player Leon will arrive in Old Trafford on July 2025, like I told you guys. But there's some reports that he might arrive in January. That is left to be confirmed because this was just off of an early report. But interestingly enough, beating Arsenal to 2 signings early already, 2 different players that they were interested in, and now they have become Man United players. You know, I'm not going to say that United is better than Arsenal, but at the same time, what I can say is United still has pull. A lot of people question the pull that Man United have, and I think we're still a big club, to be fair.
What's the position of this kid?
The youngster, he plays in the midfield. And of course, the other one is the left wing back.
What, like attacking, box to box, or
box to box? He's a box to box player.
Okay, well,
Zero, you're talking about, right? Zero is a box to box player. As far as I know, he's a box to box player.
Yeah, I don't expect to see him in the first team for another 4 or 5 years. So we'll see. Hopefully he can just come and do what he's supposed to do, because at the end of the day, we're signing all these youngsters. And at first I did have high hopes, but because of this FFP and PSR crap, it's looking like a lot of them are going to be sold. Unfortunately, because at first, you know, you look at the likes of Ineos and you think, oh, we got a structure, the structure is doing this, that, and the third. And at first, we liked the way they were moving. Obviously, as you said, you didn't rate Ashworth, but they brought him in. They brought him in for a reason. And then they said, hold on, you don't know this and you don't know that. And then they sacked him. And from what I think, right, you had this guy on gardening leave, yeah, for however long, 5 months. He's come in the job and you sacked him. He's literally only just got his feet wet and you've sacked him. So you haven't really allowed him to do what he came to do, which is fine. True. You didn't allow you didn't allow him to essentially fail. Yeah,
exactly.
You highlighted that you didn't like his recruitment, right? But a lot of the fan base are looking at the recruitment like the fan base, the recruitment was all right. All right, cool, fair enough. You sacked him. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe he wasn't the guy, right? But you employed this guy in the first place. Now, with whatever money you feel like you've wasted, with now the sacking of Ten Hag, with the paying off of Ten Hag, with the grabbing this guy out of Newcastle, then having to pay them the release clause or whatever it was from Newcastle, then now sacking him before before the ink is dry on his contract, now having to pay that payout. Now we're signing these youngsters, but then now to fit the bill for the future transfer windows, we may be in a situation where we have to start selling off youngsters that Jim Radcliffe had nothing to do with. Nothing to do with. So the likes of Harry Amas and Shea Lacey and some of these, man, they might not even get into the first team. So, like, previously, I was quite, excited about the youth setup, how the youth team is going around smashing everyone, and how they won all those titles last season. How this season they're actually beating teams up again. They've started how they started last season. They started this season again. The youth team is looking very strong. I'm talking from the starting lineup to the bench, and all of them are getting rotated. There's not really any favorites there. Like, everyone's getting a chance, and no matter who's playing, the team's cooking. So I'm just looking at Ineos with a little bit of a side eye to say, okay, well, if you're gonna sell, as an example, not saying that they're gonna sell Shea Lacey, but let's just say he's one of the ones who they're like, yeah, we're gonna sell Lacey, we're gonna sell Mantato, we're gonna sell all these ballers, we're gonna sell Fletcher. In my head, I'm just thinking, but this is what it could get to now. This is what it could get
and
to
that's
now.
scaring me, because man, them like the Fletch twins, they're bad, bro. That even Shea Lacey, Bentito, these fellas real bad. You talking about gems and gems. That's what you're talking about right now. And to be fair, bro, I am worried that some of these young talents will be sold or be sacrificed. I just feel like I hope that it won't be those guys. You know what I mean?
The problem
especially
is
the
when
ones who
clubs
haven't
start
signed
coming
a
in and
professional
saying,
contract at the club, to be fair.
the problem is if a club comes in and says, oh, who's that? Shea Lacey? Okay. We think he's really, really good. How about 25 million? Pure profit. Jim Radcliffe's looking at that like, ooh, pure profit, yeah? That 25 million is a bit... You see, 25 million, in the grand scheme of things, 25 million is not that much when you're selling a player. But that's big. But it's only because, yeah, when you're doing your accounting, yeah, it's not really 25 million that you're getting for the player if that player is like not an academy player, because they're not pure profit. But when you're selling a Shea Lacey for 25 million, that money's massive.
Big business,
the money that
bro.
they got for Scott McTominay, that money was massive.
So, yeah, that big money, bro. You gotta tell me that. I just worried about that. This is why I was like, I didn't want to see the other manager move on before the season finished, because I thought that, we might have see some of them youth men bled into the team throughout the course of the season by the end of January. You know what I mean? And they would have been in contention, at least in the hearts of fans, because they would have seen some performances. But now it's all up in the air. And as you talk about that, Man United are currently going for Alvaro Fernandez. I've been talking about this for weeks. And the new report coming out is that Man United, in a change of perspective, they want to have two young left-back talents that could fight for the position and probably alternate. One could play left CB, one could play left wing-back. And, so they can not only fight for a role, but play together on the same pitch. And they are looking at Alvaro Fernandez. The former Red Devil player has a 42 million release clause at Benfica, but Man United will be able to sign him for a significantly lower price at 16.5 million euros. This is due to a buyback clause that Man United has inserted into their deal when they sold him to Benfica. Of course, you know, we were paid a total of 8.3 million pounds for this player from Benfica. Was an initial payment of 4.5 million, and then it went up to the estimated 8.3 when they signed the player based off of his performances and stuff that he has done at the club already. Now, the interesting thing is we're going to have to pay them that back and double it, basically, to get him back from them. Are you going to be upset with that, my bro? Because in my honest opinion, I would sign Alvaro back in a heartbeat. That's just me.
No, I won't be upset with it because I rate Alvaro as a player, and he can play as a left back. He can play as a left wing back. He can probably also play as a left centre back in a back three because he's big, strong, quick, good on the ball.
100%. Yeah, no problem, bro. By the way, I will just take to mention that, while it take to talk about him, I would mention that there's also some reports coming in about Manchester United being in for another left wing back talent, and it's possibly that United might be going for him because, as you know, we need a lot of players in that department. Maybe one of them might be going in for the left wing back role, while two of them might be competing for the left back role. And this is all I can say because I know there's heavy reports that we will try to make that deal for Alvaro happen in January. But there's also been a report coming out in the last few weeks and moments talking about our interest in this talented player. And he is a talent, what I can say, Miguel Gutierrez. I know some of you don't recognize him because he's cut his hair. But with the haircut, I think he still looks the baller that he is, in my honest opinion. And it might be a January priority. And the 22-year-old Spaniard, also gold medalist after Spain won the Olympic medal in football, has emerged as a concrete target for January transfer window, with Ruben Amorim giving the green light for the move. He's a rising star in La Liga. Those of you who know, he was very pivotal in Girona's rise last season, a very interesting performer. He actually was on loan from Real Madrid. He's still basically a Real Madrid player who, in the sense that they also have a buyback option, which they are not planning to, reinvest in. So therefore, Man United have technically a clear run at this player who is somewhere in the region of 21 million euros on release clause. I am shocked we did not go in for him when we were planning to buy the likes of Branthwaite for 72. It was shocking that we did not get this guy. Being so cheap at a release clause, I'm pretty certain that if we had gone in, he would have been a Man United player already to this day. But Gutierrez, having caught the eye with performances for Girona, showcasing versatility, technical ability that suit Manchester United's pressing style. Despite being contracted to 2027, he has reportedly requested a transfer, presenting United with an opportunity to capitalize. So which now makes it even easier to get this talent into those guys because he has requested a transfer. So while, Girona might want to get top dollar for him, he does have a release clause. At max, they can quote United 35 million euros at max, which is actually a situation only in the event that there's multiple suitors because he does have a release clause, dare I say, again, for 21 million pounds. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And the left back situation is very interesting. He is not the only option. There are some people who are interested and have been talking about Ait Nouri. He's a player that I have looked at. I won't say that I would be keen on getting him because then we would have too many players that would be facing departure when it comes time for AFCON. And I'm sorry, he's a good player, but if he goes, Mazraoui goes, Onana goes, Ahmad goes, Kone goes, what's going on with Man United starting 11 if these guys are all starting in it? You know what I mean? It's going to be substitute city. So for me, yeah, it's all about timing. Let's see how it goes. There's also reports of Jonathan Davies, but the problem with Jonathan Davies is Bayern Munich is very close to renewing a contract. I know there are lots of talk coming about the agent being furious and all these blah blah blah, but that's coming from the English press because currently in Germany the reports are that their deal is almost surely going to be signed sometime early next week. And if that happens, it's going to be quite a difficult situation for Man United. However, I would say this, if we do happen to get into talks for this guy, are you guys going to be okay with paying him a salary of 200 plus per week? Because he's definitely expecting somewhere in the region of 20 million euros per year for his services, which would place him as one of our highest earners, even more money than Casemiro at this current point.
No, those wages are haram.
Haram, bro. This brood what 20 million a year, 20 million a year to play football for United. He have to be on
He's
crack,
rubbish
bro.
as well, to be honest. The thing is, yeah, like at first, yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, this guy is decent. Like I've seen him play a couple of times, right? And I remember Ten Hag was highlighting that he doesn't really think the guy's that good. And I just thought, okay, well, if he's coming, let me see how he plays. So I just obviously watching the highlights is not really a good way to gauge how good a player is because they can just show you their best bits.
Exactly.
But when I watched it, pardon me, when I watched it, I was shocked. The guy he doesn't look like a player I want in my team personally.
Bro,
We got better. Like Alvaro to me is a better player than him.
light years. Bro, I not mean to cut, yeah, but I just saying this. I from CONCACAF. Teams like Paraguay, Canada, USA, I see these guys regularly per year playing against. Even as a youngster, I've played against these teams. You know what I mean? So for me, when I look at it from this perspective, I think about it like, when have I seen top players? When have I seen these players destroy Trinidad and Tobago? Even the current Trinidad and Tobago, which I would say is a team quite like United right now in terms of the Caribbean sense of things in CONCACAF. We were one of the best, we were one of the brightest, and now we have been falling for years and not been taking care of the federation and the talent in the country, not developing grassroots the way we used to. And Canada struggles against Trinidad and Tobago, bro. To the point where unless Trinidad gets a red card, that's the only time we could say Canada will win the game. Because usually Trinidad would either draw or win with them. You know what I mean? In the last couple of games we've played, and since we've been playing recently, because it's been a situation where some hard fought situations where you could look at it and say, well, that's technically on the referee. That's not really that serious a situation. But also that they play a lot of the games now in the USA. So it's like, how could we be playing federation games inside of one host nation, if you know what I mean, which is happening for all the last couple of years. So I've never seen him score a goal against Trinidad and Tobago or Jamaica, which is, I would say, some of the better teams, or Costa Rica and Paraguay in the CONCACAF region. And even Jonathan David, you don't see these guys getting goals. They score things like penalties or like some defender will score a header in a set piece, but they don't score from open play against teams like that. And for me, if you can't do it in your confederation, you can't really come to a top club in football and try to do it. And from what I have seen of him at Bayern Munich, he has a lot of pace, which saves him a lot of the time. It's not his actual skill. Because if you look at it, he's not a good defender and he's not great going forward either. So it's like he's one of those players a lot of people would call a track athlete, in my opinion.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I want more pace in the team. I want a lot more strength in the team. But I don't think he has. Don't get me wrong. I saw him up against what was that kid that we had before and we sold
Palestri.
him. I saw him up against Palestri, but that's Palestri. Palestri's still like a kid when he faced him at the time. Palestri is not a big man, so if he was to come to the Premier League, he will be up against big men. He'll be up against big men that are just as quick as him, probably stronger than him, and he'll have to learn how to play the game. And I think that's where he will struggle. 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 And I think that's and like they're a bit more smarter. So the only way you're gonna beat them is if you have good technical ability to go with it as well. And if you're gonna telegraph exactly what you're doing to them, they're gonna be keeping up with you all day and they're gonna be tackling you. So no, that's not what I want in my team. I want a crafty guy on the ball who's strong and quick and who's got a bit about him, got a bit of technical ability. And I don't think he has. I don't think he has none of that. He just looks like he just looks a bit crazy when he's on the ball. He looks like he don't know what he's doing. And I don't want that. I'm not gonna lie to
Bro,
you. I don't want a guy making 200 and whatever K, then saying that he needs a 10 million signing on fee and whatnot. So you want to be getting paid more than the lit? Like, I don't think so. I don't think
bro,
so.
this is the thing. For me, like, even if I don't like a player and the club chose to sign him, cool. But this guy ain't Roberto Carlos, bro. You know what I mean? He's not the world's best left back. He can't be trying to come here and earn like 20, 30 million pounds. That's crazy, bro. You know what I mean? A season.
You
That's
know,
mad.
one thing we gotta stop doing is if like making these guys come for money. Yeah. The only person who I want to see come for money is like a world superstar. Like, as an example, I don't know who's a world superstar now. Like,
Vinny?
yeah, like if we was gonna go get Vinny, okay, cool. Promise him the moon and the stars. He's still young. He's still one of the best players in the world. He's done everything he needed to do, and he's still in his peak of his at the peak of his powers, and he's still a young player. Cool. If you're gonna go get Vinny and pay him the moon and the stars, I don't mind that. I'm not mad at that, right? However, if you're gonna go and get Alfonso Davis and pay him like he's a striker, pay him like he's a world-class striker. Nah.
Bro, that's crazy stuff, bro. But,
That's where
and
Man United goes downhill because we start paying stupid wages to people that don't deserve it. Then when they want to start acting up and doing stupid things, we can't get rid of them.
exactly my point, bro. And this is the other reason why I be telling fans we need to see players do it for 10, 15, 20 games consistently before we start hyping them, especially young talent, bro. It's all good and well to clap them, give them the flowers after every game, but the agenda-driven hype sometimes I think is turned out to be a negative effect on the club in terms of overall performance because I think Rashford is a victim of that. I think, if we don't look out, Garnacho and Ahmad will be victims of these things. There are lots of players, you know what I mean? And then so on with the excessive criticism. I think we are one of the clubs that used to protect our players more. We used to have a little bit more faith in our players will come good and than the instant determination, less than 3 to 6 months or less than a year and a half of actual consistent games are we saying players are dead. I think we turn into a real mush madness of a fan base. To be fair, not everyone, but some people, the way they
I think
criticize players.
the problem with that, yeah, is that it's the way the club has done it. It's not necessarily the fans' fault. Because
True,
now,
I
yeah,
agree
you have
there.
to look at the state of the team. If you're looking at the team and you're like, oh, we have to rely on Garnacho, yeah, Garnacho shouldn't be relied on. And in the
True,
past,
100.
we wouldn't have relied on a Garnacho. Garnacho would have been getting 10 minutes against Bolton. Yeah, he wouldn't be
Exactly.
starting. He would be getting 10 minutes. Go do something against Bolton. If you do something against Bolton, you might start against Southampton. If not, then you're going to be back on the bench. And that's how it was. Like, youngsters had to fight to get into the team, or they have to get a bit lucky through multiple injuries, and then they might get a chance. But now, because we don't really have anybody who's like a standout candidate for some of these positions, that's the only reason why they're playing. And now people are giving them the critique because they have got the shirt. So now you see players that ain't ready that's holding the 9 shirt, holding the 7 shirt, holding the 10 shirt, holding shirts that they shouldn't be wearing. They're gonna get the criticism. Like it's not fair on one hand, but then it's like boxing. If you beat somebody who's crap and they're holding the world title and now you're the champion because you've beat them, you now can't duck the proper challenges. And them proper challenges will be ready to fight you, and you've got the belt now, so you can't run from them. And that's how it is. Ganacho, he's got the shirt now. Rasmus has got the shirt now. If these brothers don't play well, Ahmad's got the shirt now. If they don't play well, people are gonna talk.
True. I wouldn't say no to that. But, you know, I just looking at it from a perspective that at some point in time, you know, we had to look at some things like we don't really have that team of the past, but the players that we have could develop. It have some of them that could develop into those players. Let's not kid ourselves. But we really had to have some patience, and we are Man United, so you know we want to win now. That's and realistically, I am a victim of that as well. I as much as I patient, I will always give a score line that we're gonna win and score goals because it's Man United and this is my team. And that might be overhype, overconfident, over optimism. But at the same time, that's just me. I go and do that every day. Every time we have a game, I will always bet on us winning. But at the same time, I know that it's going to take 2-3 years for us to get back to that consistent winning form because we've dropped so much in a decade. And that's just me. And while I'm looking at these reports, I'm finding reports that making me feel confident that we will be getting back there in a shorter time than I expected because of the way these reports have been coming out. If you look at this, the report says Amorim's rebuild requires big name sales at Man United. And this excites me. You know why? Because as much as I'm a Bruno fan, brother, if you had a guest sell so United could win, you had a guest sell. Talk done, point blank, period. I'm not questioning that. I'm not even fighting that, brother. You know what I mean? I will be in favor of that. Because once United winning, I am happy. And I'm pretty sure everybody else in the chat, everybody else around, guys like you as well, will be happy as well. You know, and looking at it from this perspective, this report goes on to say that the January window could be a pivotal period under the new manager for Ruben Amorim. The tactician has endured a mixed start at Old Trafford, faces an enviable task of rebuilding the squad while adhering to Premier League's stringent profit and sustainability rules. As reported by the Daily Mail and Team Talk, several first-team players could be offloaded to create space for new signings and maintain financial compliance. Now, for me, I am all for that, but we can't go happy-go-lucky. You know what I mean? So there's a core squad that becoming untouchable, and that would see like about 8-9 players, including Matthias de Ligt, Mazraoui, Lenny Yoro, Amad Diallo, Kobe Menu, Andre Onana. Despite his errors, you know what I mean? He's keen to keep those players. You know, Amad has been impressive in the right wing back situation. And, you know, Menu can continue to impress when he have given the time. You know, there's several established stars, however, who might be, you know, facing unlikely futures like Bruno, like Rashford, like Luke Shaw, you know, like the likes of Maguire and all these guys who, let's face it, if they are, it's not a bad time for them to make a move. And while they are good players, and I would say Bruno is one of the best midfielders and creators in the world, sometimes you just need a change. And not just for their own benefit, but for our benefit as well. And we have to think about United's benefit over players' benefits sometimes. You know what I mean? And United financial challenges have intensified following their failure to qualify for Champions League with a cumulative loss of £370 million over the last 5 years. The club must tread carefully to avoid breaching PSR limits, which permit a maximum loss of £105 million over 3 years. To address this, United may look to sell some homegrown talents like Alejandro Garnacho, who's valued at £39 million. Homegrown player sales are considered pure profit, making them a strategic option for clubs needing to balance their books. And you were talking about this earlier. You know, the likes of Mason Mount, 26 million, Luke Shaw, 21. Imagine we paid 60 for Mason Mount, not even 18 months ago, just about 12. So it's weird. He went from being 60 to being 26 million pounds. Even Shaw is only £5 million cheaper. Maybe if we sell him as a package, we could consider that recouping our funds on the likes of Mason Mount if he has to be sold, to be fair.
The
You know what
problem
I
is,
mean?
yeah, if we sell Mason Mount now, yeah, it will go down as a loss. That's why they can't even sell him now. The only thing they could do is if they decide that he's not a part of the plans, they can send him out on loan to recoup some of that money back.
Well, actually, I think they have an option to sell Mason Mount because honestly, you wouldn't see a figure here like 26 million if they wasn't thinking about it. And if
No,
it's
they'll
and
sell him. They will take the loss.
they
But
will
to me,
because
Mason, even though I mean, I would be happy to have a less injury-prone player instead of him.
mhm.
I think he's not the biggest problem right now. The biggest problem is Luke Shaw. That's the number one pew pew. He needs
Pew
to get shot
pew.
right now.
You know what I mean?
He needs to get shot out of the team right now. Like
100%, bro.
he needs to go. Like after him, then I'm looking at probably like this is a bit controversial because he hasn't really played that badly. But I'm looking at Maguire because I think we can. He's on big wages. He's now become injury prone. You know, he's just trying to find a way to stay at United. We need to get rid of him.
Well, you see, the two
Then
guys that I talked
Rashford.
about in his sentence just now, both of them equally on 200K per week. And I'm talking about Mason Mount and Luke Shaw. So this is why they are being mentioned because they are some of the top owners at the club. And Marcus Rashford is valued at 40 million pounds reportedly. You know, the market, despite its importance to the squad, Fernandez is also valued at 50 million pounds. So, you know, we're looking at 300. We're looking at if we could get those four players out, that's what, close to
All
150
these guys
million
ain't gonna
pounds.
leave in the summer. We'll like if we sell Casemiro, why? Because Casemiro, as much as I like the guy, for what he gives us, it's not worth 350K a week.
True.
It's
The
definitely not worth that.
the thing with
So
Casemiro is the only future again possible good money for him is him going to Saudi. And we're
yeah,
not
but
too sure about that. And
that's only if they want him. And
true.
like
That's the next
maybe we
thing.
could get and he's got another 2 years on his deal.
Exactly. So this is why I'm saying, you know, some players like Mason Mount and these guys might be sacrificed because they can't sell the likes of a Casemiro. You might could sell a Ericsson, you might could get Rashford sold, you might could even get sale for Bruno. But you know, certainly you might have to sell two other guys to make up for not being able to sell Casemiro. But at the same time, what I would say is having a Casemiro in your team in terms of the experience that he have might be better for the young players coming into the squad than having a Mason Mount, who
I
might be
mean,
in
I
terms
love
of,
all that, but he's
you know what I
getting
mean?
350. If he wasn't getting 350, then do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
I
he's
know what you
getting
mean about
350.
that
I
350,
really
but
don't get me wrong. I like the guy to just hang around and just chill. But the problem is the wages that he's on.
it's
Is that good for
ridiculous.
the club? Is that good for the business? And then it's also can he do what the manager wants him to do? Is he gonna run around like a dog? Like the manager said, you need hungry dogs or whatever he said. Is he gonna do that? I don't think so.
No,
Rashford's not doing that.
but what
The
he
only
can
one that's
do,
doing that you're complaining about is Mason Mount.
true. But I mean, he runs around, but he doesn't do anything with the ball at his feet.
But that's
So
what the manager wants. The thing is, yeah, we all we all like football and we see the football the way we see the football, right?
true.
But for whatever reason, these professional managers that have seen bad boy players played with players that we have not even got nowhere near the ability of, yeah. They've played with these man, yeah. But then they'll come into Man United and they'll say, "Oh, Scott McTominay, yeah, he's in my team." They'll look at Mason Mount and say, "Oh yeah, Mason Mount, yeah, he's in my team." And a lot of people don't rate these players. They don't. The fans just don't. But the managers, when the managers see these man, they're like Mason Mount. Yeah, I love him. I'm in love with him. That's what Amarin's talking. He's saying he's in love with Mason Mount. So whatever
Brother, I
Mason
think
Mount shown him in training, he's like, yeah, we need more players like this.
I just feel like he said that because he wearing the 7, bro. I just think that's a matter of course.
Maybe he genuinely thinks the guy is a good player, and the only problem is that he's injury prone.
And he not good on the ball.
But that's how you feel. But I'm just talking about, why do these managers keep saying these guys are good,
I
and
don't
we're
know.
arguing with them?
Yeah, true.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that Mason Mount is good. I'm not even trying to say that or Luke Shaw is good or whoever. I'm just trying to say these managers come in the club here, they look at McTominay and then they're thinking this guy is a player for whatever
Exactly.
reason.
Well, okay, trust me, to get a guy to do what you want him to do is like having a soldier. You know, he's a general in the army, and there are certain men who, you know, if you tell them that they walk through the woods at night and bring back a deer, they're doing it. No matter what, they're doing it. You need to have them kind of brothers on your team. You know what I mean? It's just be like that. But it have a certain young brother. I've been checking out some of his games, and while he's not the quickest guy in the world, technically wise, coming into a midfield role, maybe in the 10 role.
Who's
You know what I
this?
mean? I just feel like this guy, he's starting to make me feel like he should be an option for Man United.
Who's this?
I don't know if you know this guy, but I was going to do a report on him, so I'll just bring it in right now to the show, and we'll discuss. I don't know if you know who this guy is, but this guy is Ryan Cherky. He comes from Olympic Lyon. Of course, he's been there since 2010. He is a consistent performer. He was always highly rated within the club, which made his senior debut in 2020. Since then, he has climbed up the ladders pretty quickly and establishes himself pretty well. Cherky is showing promising signs of even opening an ongoing campaign. He already netted 3 goals and provided as many assists in 13 games. He's averaging 1.8 shots, 2.4 key passes, and 2.8 dribbles per game, stats via Opta. The French midfielder, Cherky, controls the ball during the French Ligue 1 football match between Olympique Lyonnais, the Groupama Stadium in Desna-Champeau in eastern France. This is just about the picture, guys. You know what I mean? He's a versatile attacking midfielder that can operate on either wing. He is known for incredible skills on the ball. He provides a creative element in the final third with his passing, dribbles, and shooting abilities. He can be a great signing. There's teams like West Ham and Liverpool who are hot on the heels of this young talent. But West Ham are some of those clubs might not have the big pull that Man United have. Of course, Liverpool might have their own pull, but he's already showing a high level of performance at a young age, being 21 years old. And with more experience under his belt, he's only getting better and better. He could be a long-term signing for us if we was to go in for him. We'd have to steal him from the likes of West Ham and Liverpool. These teams are interested. Earlier, Real Madrid were also interested in signing the 21-year-old. However, as they already have, Arda Güler, they chose not to sign this player, and they cooled their interest. So I don't know what you guys are saying, but to me, I think this young talent is very interesting. I think he is actually the player that we all hype Joshua Zirkzee to be at this current moment. Maybe Joshua Zirkzee is still that player and will develop and start showing that more and more with more games that he play. But this guy is exactly that deal, Ryan Cherky. I know a lot of Chelsea fans are hot on this guy. That's where I initially heard him from. So I watched him in a few games and I saw him play against Marseille the other day. So that's why I was talking about this.
And what is he, predominantly a right winger?
He's playing right wing, left wing. He's playing in midfield. But because of how the team is playing, he just push out our wing whenever. He sometimes switch sides during the game for like 10-minute periods. He will be on the left, he will be on the right. You know what I mean? And he real good he good in good places. You remember this guy who used to play, I think it was Fulham or West Ham, boy. What's his name?
I know you're talking about. The
French guy now, yeah. And he went
was
somewhere in South America to play football. Huh? West Ham, right?
Who are you talking about?
Is West Ham he playing for now?
When he came, wait, who are you talking about?
I can't remember his name, a French dude. He had a good touch on the ball, dangerous shot on him, had a good dribble as well. He
Was
had a
it
kind of
like back in
similar
the
stuff.
day?
Huh?
Was it back in the day player?
Yeah, about 5-10 years probably. Could be somewhere
Yeah, I know
between
you're
there.
talking about. I know you're talking about, and he was very skillful, and he used to take free kicks and stuff, and he used
Yeah.
to shoot from long range. I know you're talking about.
And this guy is a better version of that guy, to be fair. You know what I mean? In my honest opinion. From what I've seen from him, he's an interesting signing and would be quality if he was to get this deal done, to be fair.
Interesting. If Man United won him, then
Ryan
but
Cherky
then
Lucky Singh. My bad, bro.
interesting. If Man United won him, they seem to be going for all the youngsters now, so we'll see. Like as far as I knew, they were supposed to be signing Naipan come January, so I'm expecting Naipan. If they don't sign him, then I'll be a bit disappointed because the way he played against Man United, he was actually balling out.
He was. I actually agree with that statement. He was balling out. What I could
So,
say, though, is that I think I would also like them to sign Naipan, but for a different reason, because I think my little brother go into that club, that Naipan signing, and if Naipan leaves, they sign my little brother guaranteed. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that they sign Naipan for.
okay.
Yeah, you know, he's over. My little bro is over in he's at Alborg BK currently. But I'm hearing that he should be switching to what's the name of that team? Rosenborg, I believe. BK supposed to be switching to
Okay.
that team in January. So he
Oh,
on a
is this
trial
after,
situation now.
if Naipan leaves?
Yeah. But I
Okay.
think he's switching to the team regardless. I think the scout that have him, that's sorting him out right now, you know, told him that, you know, in January he's going to be playing for a different team, and he gave him the name of the team, and it was Rosenborg. So he was like, he going there. But what the scout was telling him is that tell him my mom is that basically they have a few players that they might be being moving on to bigger clubs, and if that happens, it opens up their budget a bit to intake some players. So he would be in line to get taken into the team as a team, a full team player. You know, so
Okay.
I'm just like, that would be interesting if that happens, bro. Very, very interesting. Hoping for that to happen, to be fair. So make sure we get Naipan. You know what I mean? Get Naipan, guys. Get Naipan.
Yeah, of course. I think he's a very good player, but there's a few that I want. Personally, I like the look of Chris Rigg. I think he's a baller. I like
Exactly.
Diblin, and I like the Argentinian guy. Is it Franco?
Yeah.
I think his name's Franco.
Batsuratina.
Yeah, I like that guy. So if we can get them for reasonable prices, I'm happy with that because I know that these guys they'll end up like they're that good. Like we want to fast track them to the first team. Like they're that good. Like it might so naturally you might see these guys in like maybe a season in developing as a youth, and then maybe the season after that they'll be getting like bench call ups and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, really.
Brother. Bro. You see the next 4 games, not so bad, right? For Man United. I just want to show man them this list of game fixtures here that I'm looking at. This is crazy, bro. This is wild. This is wild. Watch this, guys. Watch these fixtures here. Man City, Tottenham, Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle. That's the next 6 fixtures. The next 5 fixtures, right? It all comes. Boom. And when we go hit January, watch the next 3 fixtures, the next 2. Liverpool, then Arsenal in the FA Cup. So we get 2 tough games, 2 easy games, and a weird game in between. Well, we have three big ones in our run here. But It's an interesting situation, guys. Looking at this, we have Rangers in the Rangers who sit in eighth, right behind us. That's our next game in the Europa League, and if we beat Rangers, that means we go up further places in front. Following that game, the following 2 weeks late, 2 weeks after, we have to play FSB, who was in seventh before, and now they're in 12th. They're in 12th. So that I think with those next two games, if we could add 6 points to what we have, we should definitely be in the top 3 in the group to finish the group. But it's going to be a difficult run of games in the next couple of weeks, guys. Starting with this game against Manchester City this weekend, tomorrow. Guys, I would love to do a match preview tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have the time to do so. I do have a little bit going on. I have some exams tomorrow as well, so it's going to be an interesting situation to see how the day pans out. But I will try my endeavor best. You know what I mean? Big up. But, bro, looking at this team here that we're currently looking at, Man City, Haaland, Nunes, De Bruyne, Savinho, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Gvardiol, Simpson, Pose, Diaz, and Walker. Ortega in goal. I mean, it's a strong team. You know what I mean? I've even heard some people saying Savinho has done more in his first season than Anthony has done, while Savinho hasn't even gotten an assist and a goal yet in the Premier League, in any competition for that matter, to be fair. So it's a weird one. But they are a strong team nevertheless. I just think they are an aging team with the likes of De Bruyne, Gundogan, and even Bernardo Silva. You know what I mean? I think they are a team in transition currently, and while they are favorites to win against us this weekend, I would not be surprised if United give them an upset. What are your thoughts?
I think, personally, I think City, they're the champions, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a team that's won leagues, won Champions League, and whatnot, and they've basically won 1 game in 10, and they're in the worst bad patch that I can recall a top team ever going through. I don't recall a genuine top team going through this type of upheaval before. So I need to actually see where a team's actually had this type of run and the manager's not been sacked. I did remember Louis van Gaal going through a bad run, but his one was just loads of draws. Loads of boring draws. They weren't like loss after loss after loss. They weren't like that. So it's interesting. However, Man United is so rubbish that I wouldn't even be surprised if we let them spark into life and beat us. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to lie to you. Like City, that's a strong team, and on paper they should be beating us. However, this is Man United. Just because they're down, it just makes the game 10 times harder for us for whatever reason. Like, this is a team who, at this point in time, we should put them to the sword because of the way they're playing. But because of the way Man United is set up, we might just do some punk stuff and just lose the game.
My only problem with the starting lineup is these two brothers here, Marcus Rashford, Diego Dallo. And I'm not saying that I don't like them. I'm a Dallo fan. But from what I seen in the last game, I would like to do 2 things. I would like to start Joshua Zirkzee here, and I would like to start Anthony here. That's the only changes I want to make to this lineup. And I think if we make those changes to this lineup, we have a more fluent attack going forward. We have a player who will bomb forward and provide that defensive coverage tracking back, and who links up well with players, would link up well with players like Ugarte, Fernandez, and Ahmad, and not to mention Højlund. And we've seen the injection in the exuberance that came on the pitch with Anthony and Højlund when they came on as a double substitution last night. So I'm just looking at it from the perspective where, maybe we should give those 2 guys another chance at starting. One of them started last night. Maybe the other one should get his chance at starting our first game in a very long time. He hasn't started a game since the second game of the Europa League, I believe it was. And yeah, I think you never know. He's a guy that scored against Man City before. he might just use that game to score against them again. And with the current form of Rasmus Højlund, I would say if we could get at least 2 or 3 passes into him into the first half, one of them should be a goal. So I looking for game on in the game. To be honest, I don't think that Man City at this current time, other than on paper, are too strong for Man United to capitalize and get a victory, get 3 points. Even, on worst case scenario, come away with 1 point. That's just me. Big up to Darko, lucky saying you are a Radcliffe fan. Bro, Darko, that had to be my first comment I read, bro. Big up to you, though, brother. I wouldn't mind Anthony Santos, Zirkzee, Mason Mount get a start for a game. We need to push them back. Might be interesting. What are your thoughts, bro? Because, I'm about to close the stream. We've been here for like almost an hour. I didn't really intend to be here that long. But I was just, kind of ended up relaxing because I have a lot of stuff on my mind as well. So I was enjoying the conversation though, bro. Even though we don't have that many people watching us today. But guys, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe while you're here. If you're in the non-live section, please do help the community grow. It's a nice community and you all have your say. I'm welcoming all of you. If you ever feel like you would like to do a 1 minute or 2 minute match reaction, join the WhatsApp group, join the Telegram chat and get in, send your reaction there and you will see it live in the shorts on this channel every match after every post match, because this is now something I would like to do with the fans of this channel. So guys, if you have the time and you're willing to do it, you can do like my buddy Bali Tech and you can wear a ski mask, as I call it, you know what I mean? Or, and just, leave, have your say. Talk about how you feel about the team's performance. 1 minute video, send it in the group chat, and your boy Marken will put it up on YouTube, and everyone can interact and hear what your opinions are on your favorite team. So big up to you guys, and thank you for joining us today. Bali Tech, any last words, my brother?
Yeah, like I said, this is a strong Man City team on paper. My concerns are with if they're gonna play Rashford, because I've seen how he's playing now. He's definitely, his head's not there for whatever reason. Maybe the training's too hard. Maybe he thinks the manager's trying to do something to him and blah, blah, blah. All the excuses in the world. It's neither here nor there, because he's just proving that he's getting found out, really, with the lack of effort that he's bringing to the team. Obviously, maybe Joshua. I think they should find a way of getting Joshua Zirkzee and Højlund onto the pitch at the same time. Maybe there's a partnership there. I'm not saying for 2 of them to play up front, but maybe they can alternate, because I think when Xerxes plays up front, he can get the ball under control a bit better than Højlund. So, but when the ball comes into the box, Højlund's the lethal finisher. So if they know how to maybe one goal and one drop off, and then they just know if they can do that, then at least it can cover up what I see as deficiencies in both of their games. And then we might be able to give City a beating. Yeah. Using both of their strengths at the same time. So
yeah, I think we saw some of that in the first 10 minutes when they were on the field together, because Zirkzee came off like about 10-15 minutes after Rasmus came on. Because I was saying it myself last night watching the stream. I was like, yo, Højlund playing with Zirkzee on the pitch. So for me, if we could see a little bit more of that, I think it would be best. I think against a team like City, they're not the quickest in midfield, so you could afford to have a Zirkzee, and having Rasmus with a player who will, probably lay off the ball for him early, because we see Zirkzee, he likes to, to feed players early. That might give Rasmus the edge on the young players that he will be facing against and who play at the center of the park. Ruben Diaz is not that amazing. I would say Rasmus should be able to rough handle him, as well as the youngster who playing for Man City as well. So for me, I just looking forward to a performance from the guys that I could appreciate. I hope that, win, lose or draw, they leave it out on the pitch, because other than that, I can't ask for anything more, to be fair.
Yeah, of course.
100. So guys, Thank you to Bali Tech. Make sure you guys, shout outs to Bali Tech. You always come in and hold it down with your boy Marken. Big up to all of you guys coming in today. Hope you had a wonderful evening. I know it's Friday and everyone is getting that R&R and probably getting out there and enjoying the afternoon, having some drinks or whatever have you. But make sure you all are safe out there, and we'll see you guys later on this weekend. Of course, tomorrow we'll be trying to do the match reaction. I'll still have to get a time for that. Hopefully, maybe we can do it really early in the morning. I'll let you guys know what's up there. If not, it's going to probably be done late in tomorrow evening, guys, because I'm going to be a little bit busy during the day. So, guys, have a great one. Big up to all of you. Shout outs to everyone. Have a great evening. Have a safe one. And we'll see you again very soon. It's been your boy, Marken MUFC fan, with, the match reaction and the match preview, sort of, kind of thing. Big up.